Call to order the Ada Township Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. First up is roll call. Secretary, please call roll.
Corte, Jefferson, DeMarco,
Here.
McNamara,
Here.
Snuddle,
Here.
Ellickson, Andrews.
We have 3 members here, which is quorum for our vote. We will need all 3 of our vote to pass the variance. You do have the option to postpone your request for another date when we have all 5. So just think about that. Next up is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion to approve the agenda by Nuttall, support by DeMarco. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. Next up is approval of the minutes from our April 14th meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from the April 14th meeting.
Support.
Motion to approve the minutes from the April 14th, 2026 meeting by Nuttall, support by DeMarco. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes were approved. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move right on to our new business. The first up is a request for variance for a building height for a new dwelling in the RP1 zoning district located at 5841 White Barn Drive. Would the applicant please come forward to the podium, state your name, address, and then...
Sure, and I've got some handouts. Can I hand those out?
Sure.
For,
Something in addition to what was submitted?
yeah, just photos and my presentation today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Jeremy Hersman, and I am the builder and applicant for the proposed single-family dwelling at 5841 White Barn Drive. On behalf of Matt and Jill Jarbo, we respectfully request the variance from 35-foot maximum height to a proposed 40-foot 10 inches, deviation of 5 foot 10. I would like to explain why this request meets in each of the standards under section 78-107. I've provided drawings and photographs of the neighboring homes to support my presentation. This 2-story single-family home with a walkout is on 9 acres in the RP1 district. The structure includes a 46-foot main truss span. The height overage is not the result of an unusual or excessive design. It is a geometric result of 3 conventional residential elements working together. Walkout lower level, standard 2-story floor-to-floor heights, on a roof pitch consistent with the surrounding neighborhood. Excuse me. On a structure with a 46-foot truss span, even a moderate roof pitch produces a height that exceeds the 35-foot limit when measured from the walkout grade point. We have fully evaluated whether the home could be brought into compliance. Reduced pitch of 412 would accommodate that at the 35 feet exactly. However, as the neighborhood photos shown in what I've provided, every surrounding property features a steep roof pitch, visually consistent with a 912 or greater. A 412 roof at this structure would make it architectural outlier of the street, flatter, inconsistent with established character, and limiting the usable upper level space. Proposed configuration reflects a balanced approach that maintains functional space while using the roof pitch appropriate for the neighborhood. Under section 1, ask whether the literal enforcement of the ordinance creates a practical difficulty given the exceptional situation of the land or structure. The practical difficulty here arises from how the height standard is measured in combination with the building's depth and span. The height is measured from the lowest point, the walkout level, to the midpoint of the highest roof gable. On a deeper structure with a 46-foot span, the measurement method results in exceeding 35 feet before the functional upper level and neighborhood appropriate roof can be achieved. The board has previously recognized this combination of a walkout grade measurement, floor-to-floor height, and a roof structure consistent constitutes a practical difficulty. In February 2020, the board approved a height variance for 1551 Honey Creek with a deviation of 19'3" above the 35-foot limit. On precisely these grounds, the request involved a deviation. This request involved a deviation of 5'10". It's a much smaller ask based on the same reasoning the board has already accepted. Under Section 2, asks whether the ordinance can be verified or varied in a way that observes its spirit, secures public safety, and does substantial justice. The proposed height standard is to prevent adverse impacts of neighboring properties, obstruction of light, air, and views, and to maintain the general character of the area. Granting this variance creates none of these impacts. The parcel is 9 acres. The home will be set back from all neighboring properties. No neighboring properties' views, light, or privacy are affected. The overage occurs at the rear of the structure at the walkout condition, and the roof pitch proposed matches the established character of the surrounding neighborhood as shown from the photographs provided. Granting this variance produces a home that fits the neighborhood. Denying requires a 412 roof that does not, without providing any corresponding benefit or neighboring properties or the public. Under Section 3, asks whether the condition is general or recurrent. That would be more appropriate to amend the ordinance itself. The board's own history addresses this directly, as noted in the 2020 proceedings. The Planning Commission considered amending the building height regulations in 2004 and 2016, but took no action on either occasion. The board has continued to address the situations through the variance process, approving 14 of 16 similar requests since 2000. Variance remains the appropriate remedy. This situation is also driven by specific combination of the structure's 46-foot truss span, the walkout grade measurement methodology, and the architectural content of the neighborhood. It is a universal condition, and the variance process is the correct tool. In closing, the summary, we are requesting a variance of 5'10", the minimum deviation after evaluating compliant alternatives on a 9-acre parcel where no neighboring properties are impacted. The request is driven by practical difficulty in how the ordinance applies to a structure of this span and depth. The variance is the minimum necessary after evaluating compliant alternatives. There is no impact on neighboring properties or public safety. The proposed roof pitch matches the established neighborhood character, and the request is consistent with the prior board decisions. Do you have any questions?
Not at this time, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
Next up is the staff report.
Yes, as the applicant stated, the construction of a new 2-story single-family dwelling with a walkout level basement is proposed on the subject 9.12 acre property, which is zone RP1, Rural Preservation 1. It was determined after a review of the building permit application submittal for this project that the height did exceed the minimum allowed, or maximum allowed 35 feet at 40 feet 10 inches. Prior to this submittal, staff did not have any conversations with the applicant prior to submitting this. And as the applicant did state, essentially this is just being requested due to desired design and appearance of this structure. There are no physical, practical difficulties, hardships in regards to the property itself of requesting a higher variance. How we do, and this is a substantial variance request as well, going from 35 feet to 40 feet 10 inches. Standard practice, how we measure building height for all new construction that comes into that is submitted and received for review. Building height is measured from grade. How we do is we take the lowest point at the walkout level and 5 feet from the building to the average height of the highest gable of a pitched or hipped roof. In determining this midpoint, the measurement is taken midway between the bottom of the eave and the top of the ridge line. And this is consistent with our reviews for all single-family homes. And per the ordinance, and it's stated in the memo, how we do our building height, the definition means the vertical distance above grade, above grade to the highest point of a coping or flat roof, or to the deck line of a mansard roof, or in this case, to the average height of the highest gable of a pitched or hipped roof. There's also a definition of grade. As the board is well aware, there are certain standards, conditions that need to be adhered to in order to have the variance request be granted. In staff's opinion, this request does not meet the standards and does recommend that that the requested variance be denied based on the findings of fact that the request does not meet applicable variance standards. We believe if this was approved, it would set a precedent for future requests and approvals, which would be a poor precedent to set. As the applicant did state that there were variances granted in the past, I think Jason may have been the only one back since it was the last height variance. I'm not sure if Harvey was on the board at that time. There has been a substantial change in mindset, et cetera, as far as since that point in time. And in the last 6 years, I don't believe that there have been any height variance requests. When we have seen this type of occurrence, staff has worked with the applicant, and the applicants worked with the staff as far as modifying the building height to meet the requirements. We are also going through a zoning rewrite at this point in time. This has been discussed and with our consultant, and it's something that is satisfactory in how we do this, and we are not recommending any changes to the measurement of how we measure building height and the height itself of 35 feet.
Okay, thank you. We'll open it up. You can.
Okay.
Sorry. We'll open it up to public comment related to this request. Yep, come to the podium and state your name and your address.
Hi, Jill Jarbo. It's my property. I'm just curious how you arrived at the maximum height. And I also wanted to just, I realize you don't want to set a precedent of allowing things that are above standard. However, we butt up to a horse farm, so no one will be,
This really isn't public comment, because you're part of his
I understand
application,
that.
so this really isn't applicable.
I would like to know, is there anyone who can explain to me why that is the standard?
Is that something you guys can do?
Is
at
there
another
anyone
time?
who
That's
can
been
tell
the
me?
standard.
We're not, first off, if you'll allow, procedurally, we're not gonna get into a Q&A. People can make their comments, then they can sit down, and we can certainly discuss.
Sure.
We're not gonna get into a back and forth with every person that comes up. When the comment is made and that individual is completed and are done, we can respond to the questions, but we're not gonna do a back and forth. As Brent had mentioned, the height requirement here, and all questions and all comments have to be directed to the chair, by the way,
Sure.
but height is measured to the midpoint of the gable. That is specifically defined within our ordinance. It's the halfway point of the gable. That's where the height is measured to for all structures, period. It is defined that way. As Brent had mentioned, it's going to be defined that way in the new ordinance as well.
So if you have a comment, you can make a comment, but if you're just asking questions.
My comment is that if it doesn't obstruct anyone's view, it seems completely unfair that if it fits, it's unfair to assume that it's denied immediately, and if it's approved by my neighborhood, then again, seems unfair. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Is this considered public comment?
It is. We can read it into the record, or you can, Jason?
What is Stagmore Plan Review?
Yeah, so I asked the same question.
before I read it, I want to
I
know
think that was all of our question, yeah.
where this is coming from.
We don't know their identity, if that's this neighborhood, or what,
It is
this
this
neighborhood review
neighborhood.
board?
It's called Stagmore
Is that-
Plan
is this the
Review
Stagmore
Board.
neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay,
So
so,
it's kind of like the governing body of the neighborhood.
Yes.
Okay.
all right,
All right, so we received this on May 1st. The Stagmore Plan Review Board has reviewed the request and is writing to share the board's position on the matter. In short, the board does not support a variance. The board's stance is that the Stagmore deed restrictions were established to maintain consistency among homes in our subdivision. Additionally, the board believes the granting of variance could set a precedent for future homeowners to ask for variances, which might hinder the community's efforts to protect views from other parcels and sustain a cohesive development pattern for residences on those parcels. Every homeowner purchased their parcel with the understanding that there were deed restrictions and specific building rules in place, and they knew that all other homeowners would be held to the same standards. A variance breaks that assurance and sets a precedence that effectively voids the deed restrictions. That's essentially what it says.
and, well, you want to read the last paragraph?
We do not intend to be inflexible. The Stagmore Plan Review Board is open to options, considerations. However, the board must also ensure that every home at Stagmore is built to the township and deed restriction standards.
And then that's
Elizabeth Bakeman was
She's
who
a-
wrote it,
Stagmore Plan Review Board
member.
representative.
All right, so that ends public comment. I will give the applicant an opportunity to come up to address anything further that you may have from the public's comment, staff's comment.
I don't have any other comments other than just designed the house with just a two-story with a walkout basement, which is, according to John and Brent, when I talked to them, that's how the ordinance was drawn. But because of the depth of the trusses, that's where our height is exceeding the 35 feet.
Yeah.
The house that is designed fits the neighborhood, fits the property. I understand that design comes into a variance as part of it, but we're not asking for a four-story house or something out of the ordinary. It's a three-story or a two-story house with a walkout, which is what we're going off for the ordinance. It's just a deeper house, which requires a much steeper truss. If we meet the code with a 412 roof, I don't feel like Stagmore or anybody else is gonna like that either, so I'm not exactly sure where that would go. But any other questions?
Not yet.
Okay.
Thank you. I will open it up to board discussion and questions.
My first question was going to be, who is this entity that submitted this? Because it really isn't clear, so thank you for asking that question. And I have a question for the staff. You said you haven't had a request for a variance such as this in, did you say 6 years? Like, what would be an average or acceptable allowance for a variance and why?
Well, I think we have to go back to the standards, as I mentioned, the standards of the
Okay.
ordinance, and this is just a request based on desire.
Just desire, not for
Not
a
based on
handicap
a
of any
practical
sort,
difficulty.
or, right. I just wanted to be clear on that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, as you all know, a lot of times we're dealing with, what is a unique situation?
Mhm.
Is it placement, is there an old oak tree that you're trying to work around, so that
Correct.
moves your home this way, or is there a river that
Something that would not be,
physical
Physical.
limitation? or physical
immediately
convenience?
visible, like per an ordinance or whatever, like some outstanding situation, which none of that is applicable in this situation, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Has this got something to do with ceiling height? Because
It's not ceiling height, so, because we're standard height from basement to top of ceiling trusses when you go to that midpoint of the gable.
So it's got to do with how deep the home is
The
going
home's
from the
deep, so
back
the
side.
truss is tall.
It just goes back to design and appearance, requested design and appearance.
Can I?
I don't quite understand what he's saying about the
Come on up.
the truss.
So for, at a 912 pitch, when you're 46 foot deep.
So where's the depth? Are you talking about the depth? I'm looking at this
Sure.
wall here. This is the back right. This is where the height problem is right there.
Correct. So they're measuring to the center point of that
The
truss.
center point of that truss, yeah?
Yep.
So you're saying that the problem is the fact that the house is too deep? Are you talking about the depth going back
Yes. Yep,
from that point
From front to back.
three-dimensionally that way?
Yep, so because of the depth, this height
that's creating-
rises.
That's making that height rise?
And then,
Because of the slope of the land?
nope, just the,
Yeah.
It shouldn't be
Sir,
just a discussion between the
Yeah,
two.
we need to have it, kind of you back at the podium.
so the other drawing that I just showed you is with a house drawn with a 412 that meets that measurement,
This last page,
and the page before it.
this is the 412 look?
Yep, if you go to the page before it, you can compare it to that drawing you just showed me. So that is a compliant drawing with the 412. And compared to the neighborhood, where everything is much steeper, it just architecturally is not a desirable look.
It sounds like you're saying it can be done with a 412. It just doesn't
It could be done with a 412 and meet,
suit your appearance
yep. But then
needs.
we would go back and forth with the zone, or the Stagmore, which is not going to go with the 412 based on the appearance of the neighborhood.
Oh, so the Stagmore that doesn't approve the variance, you're saying they wouldn't approve this
Correct.
412 pitch?
Correct. Because I emailed, after they got the email from you guys, I emailed a board, told them the same situation, that 412 will meet it, and that we were gonna go in front of the board for a variance, because architecturally, it's not gonna look like the neighborhood. The neighborhood is 12 homes that are substantial.
I mean, just looking at this situation, if you've got a difficulty with the, what is it, like a,
Like your HOA development?
homeowners,
Yes, it's HOA.
homeowners association type thing,
Correct.
and they won't approve this, which, I don't know if you have to submit this to the township as a part of your packet or your, whatever, because this is not, this wasn't included. Oh, this drawing with the 412 roof is in there, it wasn't given to me.
I wasn't in the, yeah, it's in the packet, I believe.
Is it in here somewhere? I don't see it. No, it's not there. Anyway, if they won't approve that, and we likely can't approve the alternative, then maybe you gotta go back to the drawing board and figure out a design that both will
Understood.
both will approve.
Okay, and my question, in regards to your question, I know that the board has passed 14 of 16 applications in the past, the last one being that 51 Honey Creek, that was almost 20 feet above the variance. My question is, where's the hardship for a home that's 18,000 square feet compared to what we're asking for? How does the 35-foot come into play versus where we're at?
Every time questions like this come up, typically what we have to understand is that we're looking at what's in front of us now.
Mhm.
We cannot speak to what happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 20 years ago. We're looking at what we have right now. And each case has to stand on its own merits. And as Brent had mentioned earlier, there is, we have discussed roof height with many people over the last 5, 6 years. We have talked to them about why this is an issue. As Harvey mentioned, this is a kind of a design choice. And we have said, you know, we do not believe this is going to be approved because there is not a unique physical situation. This is based on a design preference. So that's what comes into play here. I cannot speak to what happened, again, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, or so forth.
I got another question. I don't know if this is the case, and I think we'd have to have it in some sort of writing, but would it be a practical difficulty if the homeowners association wouldn't approve this? That wouldn't matter?
Because we have to review on our own, based on our own
Our own
standards,
Your own-
right?
our
And
own-
and our own
right.
stuff in the zoning ordinance, right?
If their homeowners association would not allow them to build it like this, then they can't build that home, but they also can't build this home because we won't approve it.
So it seems strange that we're even here.
I'd like to add to that, my question initially was basically just for reference, okay? That aside, and ensuring the fact, I just wanted to confirm that this Stagmore Plan Review Board is your HOA board.
Yeah, it's an HOA board, yes.
And again, to
They won't
echo,
approve either one of them,
Well,
though.
right, I
They're
was just
saying,
gonna say-
they're telling us not to approve this, and they're saying they won't approve that.
that's where I was going with this. I myself live in a development, and often there are decisions made by the development's board that the residents or resident isn't happy with. But again, that's one of the things that you are subjected to when you're living in a development situation.
Sure.
So to echo Member Nuttall's concerns, if your HOA development board wouldn't approve this design, you know, that's the end of it right there. I mean, the township can't go to a development and say, well, we overrule you or whatever. We don't have that capacity.
I'm just surprised it's even here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know we've already started the meeting, but they don't have to proceed with our vote, right? They can withdraw and go back to the drawing board.
Do
And
for that.
I'm-
Yeah,
I think we've had that situation come up before where the person applying was given the option to rather withdraw their request.
Yeah, and I gave them that option, but they're, of course,
Okay,
Yeah.
that was, okay.
before we vote, if you feel like you want to postpone or whatever, it's,
Well, it wouldn't be a postponement, it would be an actual withdrawal, because a postponement is simply just continuing the matter for a vote later, but it's the same request.
yeah.
However, the applicant could withdraw the request if they wish to do so, in which case the request goes away totally, and just, there is no request at that point, or the zoning board can vote on the request as it's been presented to them.
Okay.
If you guys vote on this, you approve it, at that point, can I go back to the HOA and say this has been approved? And
I
talk
would
to those
suggest
boards?
going to your HOA board for, okay.
Those are two separate things.
Two separate items. I think the township can have nothing to
Yeah.
say with HOAs.
Sure.
That's not for
Yeah.
us is not to decide what the homeowner board or the neighborhood board review does
We can't
or
enforce
says.
any of those regulations.
That's up to them, and we are responsible for zoning ordinance, right?
What's at hand today is what's before us
That's it,
today,
yeah.
and we have the certain standards, and those are the standards that need to be looked on voting on this request.
Table it, or?
No.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We'll withdraw.
Okay. The variance request has been withdrawn. Next up on new business is a request for a variance for a rear yard setback for a new dwelling in the VR zoning district located at 7340 Thornapple River Drive. Would the applicant please step forward, state your name and address and case?
Jeff Seagard, Seagard Builders, You want my office address or the address of the property?
Address of the property.
7340 Thornapple River Drive. I brought Reese Altman from Visbeen Architects to answer any questions about this unique process.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I'll just summarize quickly. I know staff has a comprehensive summary of the request. The property in question, again, is at 7340 Thornapple River Drive, southeast. I'll just talk about the design. As you see on your drawings, it's a mostly single-story residential home with a courtyard design, with a garage on the back side of the home. The primary hardships that this lot faces are that it's small. It's adjacent to, I believe it's a C1 PUD district, right? I'll let staff decide that one. And then also the alley loading of the property. So there's a little bit of hemmed in considerations that the client in particular was a little leery of, particularly the C1 pub to we'll call it northwest. They wanted a little bit of a privacy for their yard. They don't know what that future development might look like. So creatively, we thought maybe a courtyard solution so they can put their main gathering entertaining place internally and kind of shield themselves from whatever potential could happen on that adjacent property. I know that the township has.
Sir, could you repeat your name so that?
Oh, yeah.
Sure to get into the
Yep,
minutes?
Reese Altman, Senior Project Designer for Visbeen Architects.
Reed Saltman?
Reese.
Reese Saltman?
Reese, Altman, Altman.
Altman.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
my name is on the drawings too.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I glazed pretty quickly through that. Yeah, so back to sort of like how we came to this design and how we sort of navigated some of the hardships that we're facing, and then sort of finding solutions that we think sort of fit with the relatively minimal number of homes that have an alley sort of situation in the VR district. There's already been sort of precedent for setback relief on the backs of these properties, particularly with, I'm trying to remember what the numbers were, 7380 and 7390 Thornapple, where they went to 35 feet. We're asking to go to 28 feet, which would be 7 feet more than sort of your most recent zoning variance approval. And really, it's just a function of finding a creative way for our client to have, some privacy and some security, and then also sort of aging in place. They're concerned about having, or needing an attached garage for those sort of harsh Michigan winters. But I'll let staff summarize from here, if that's all right. Yep.
I might add that we, in a bit of levity, we also seem to now have harsh Michigan Springs, the way things are going.
Yep.
In any event, thank you. Yes, so as Mr. Altman?
Altman, Altman.
Altman.
Yep.
Indicated, yes, this is a small site. It is adjacent to, in fact, it's adjacent to the township parking lot, public parking lot here. Mm-hmm. It also has adjacency to the alley that goes behind the homes on Thornapple River Drive, as well as these homes along Bronson Street. This is the only alley in the entire township. It's a public alley, but it is the only one. There is an existing home on the property. The home also has an accessory structure, so it's like a garage or shop space. That existing accessory building has a setback of 28 feet. That is the same as the proposed setback for the new structure. So that was likely a legal non-conforming, well, actually it's a detached accessory building, so the regulations are different. But point being though, is that it is the same setback as the proposed structure. So based on review of that, based on the fact that in this same location, this same alley, we have had other applicants approved based on these same conditions, right? We talk about how each case has to stand on its own merits, but we've had other requests using these same merits or using these same conditions, if you will. The adjacent, in this case, the adjacent commercial site even exacerbates that further. The alley and the relatively small size of the subject parcel. From staff's opinion, those are unique situations that address all three of the zoning variance standards, and for that, we believe that the request does merit further consideration based on these standards, and we would have no objections to the approval of the request based on the findings of fact that these standards have been satisfied. Thank you.
I will open it up to any public comment.
Looks like you don't need my public comment, but I'm Kirsten Morello. It's Kirsetin, Morello, Morello. If that sounds familiar, it's because you approved a variance for our driveway. We're at 7380 Thornapple River Drive, and so I'm coming to represent support from the Morellos for the variance.
Thank you.
That's it. And I have to put something in the oven, so I gotta run.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We also had a email that came in on today from Heather and Mike Jabardi. Is that how you say it?
Garbati.
That regarding this request, that they will not be able to attend the meeting, however, wanted to share our opinion on the requested variance. As a fellow alley dweller, we see no problem with the requested variance. The reduced setback will not impede on our access in or out through the alley. We look forward to seeing this lovely house in our neighborhood. I will close public comment. I will give you any opportunity if you feel like you need to say anything. Okay. And I'll open up to board discussion. Questions?
I have none.
I don't have any questions.
One additional comment, if I might. Generally speaking, this is a relatively low-profile home. There's a portion in the rear that is a two-story portion, but otherwise it's all single-story.
Mm-hmm.
So from a visual impact perspective, on a vertical perspective, that's even less than the current home, because the current home is 2 stories. So just that, I didn't mention that in the staff report, but that is certainly a physical consideration, if you will.
If we have no questions, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Based on?
Based on the relatively small size of the parcel and the fact that it's a unique situation in the township that we've previously granted similar variances for, so.
I'll support.
May I ask just procedurally, would you be willing to have the motion also state, just based on the findings of fact, that the project, that the standards for variance have been satisfied?
Yes.
Thank you.
You don't need to say it over again, but just if you're good with it.
Yep. Okay, a motion to approve the variance by Nuttall, support by DeMarco. We will do a roll call vote. A vote of aye is in favor of the motion to approve the variance.
Aye.
You gotta wait.
Oh, you gotta wait. Okay. Aye. Still aye.
Aye.
Aye. Variance is approved. We're all set with new business. Next up is correspondence.
Very briefly, we are continuing to move along. Thanks, gentlemen.
I just want to say thank you, guys.
Yep, we're continuing to move along with our zoning ordinance update, as Brent had alluded to earlier, and we're hoping to set up a joint meeting of the Township Board and the Planning Commission over the next couple of months, kind of a general review meeting to follow up the one we had in December, so we'll see how that goes. in terms of scheduling as much as anything else, but we're making some good progress. So wanted to mention that. Also, I think I mentioned last time that Elaine will be retiring. This will be her last meeting with. I know she likes to avoid the attention.
Are you gonna be able to write fast enough?
Pardon me?
Are you gonna be able to write fast enough? next
Absolutely
month?
not. So we'll see what happens with the next zoning board meeting and upcoming planning commission meetings. We're working on selecting a successor for Elaine to work into that role. So we'll see what the timing is for that.
And does it look like we'll have a meeting in June?
I do not recall about our applicants.
No.
Oh, we,
We
we-
don't have an agenda item, we weren't sure of the outcome of this, and so
These-
we were reading it.
it's likely that we'll be able to
Yes, so-
cancel it though.
Yeah.
We suspect we will be able to cancel the June meeting.
The deadline is what?
Deadline's passed.
Oh, it has.
For June.
Yep, so.
So no meeting. All right.
We'll send out formal
Yeah, right.
notification though.
Is there, I have a question, in regard to the ordinance, new ordinance that you're writing, is there like a deadline, or just like, you just keep working it until, I mean, having revised ordinances myself, I know it's not easy, and I can't imagine the magnitude of yours, so.
Yeah, the zoning ordinance is really complex, but
It's been going on for about a year now.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully we'll wrap it within the next couple of months.
maybe 3 or 4 months, maybe. Yeah.
Because that will address, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of situations that will fall under the overall new ordinance, yes?
Well, it's kind of the same stuff that
Yeah.
we've been seeing all along. However, our goal is to have this ordinance be a lot simpler for people to read, be user-friendly instead of
Right.
friendly.
Right.
Charts,
I got you.
tables, stuff like that, just so it's much easier for folks to understand.
Thank you, I know
And,
that's not easy.
And also, I think as we had talked about at that December meeting, kind of unifying some of the stuff, expanding some of the housing options, especially down in this area, and some of those kinds of things too.
Okay, thanks.
Exciting project.
And I know, I mean, like, the magnitude of what you're dealing with is far beyond what I dealt with, changing the two that I did, but it's, congratulations, and I know.
We gotta keep after it, so thanks.
All right.
Apologies about being late as well, really sorry about that. I was at the bank and they were messing me around at Comerica Bank, which will soon be Fifth Third Bank, so probably get messed around even more there. But America was giving me a hard time. Got it sorted out in the end, but that just took longer. And then I was like, oh yeah, 4:30 already. Fortunately, I was only 5 minutes.
We have no public left in attendance, so we'll have no public comment, and next item is adjournment. Can I get a motion?
To adjourn.
Do I get support?
Favorite one.
Yes, you do have support.
Motion to adjourn by Nuttall, support by DeMarco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Did you say that's your favorite motion to make, Harvey?
I usually make that motion, so it's my job.
Okay.
Well, thank you all. These are just difficult decisions, and our applause to you for,
That was tough. I mean, the last height variance that I do remember was somebody that wanted. Well, there was somebody that was complaining about